Hey YouTube, wanted to do this. This was originally going to be for $5 patrons, but I got a comment that a person enjoyed my comparison of, I think it was Terra Firma. So I wanted to do the same again. Not all comparisons, as a reminder, not all comparisons will be free on YouTube. But this one I thought was big enough, and it's one of my personal favorites. This is the last horror film by Troma, and Maniac 2, also known the last horror film by Severin. So, last horror film, one of my favorite movies. At one point I also had the 2-disc Troma DVD for when they were the Troma Masterpiece collections, I believe. So I'm going to set this aside for a second. Let's talk about this version. So this is the Troma Blu-ray that was put out in... It does not say. Interesting. But this was the Troma Blu-ray put out when they started putting their stuff on Blu. The things of note, there is an audio commentary. There's an intro with Lloyd Kaufman and John Brennan. That's right, that intro includes a segment with John Brennan from John Brennan and the Big Feet, also known as Joe Bob from Joe Bob's Last Drive-In, or The Last Drive-In with Joe Bob Briggs, I mean. The music coordinator on there, and the guy who plays guitar and songs, so that's kind of neat. There's a short film, Mr. Robbie, which has been on a bunch of Troma releases, and I think it might even be on the Maniac release on the Fork. Like, Mr. Robbie is almost everywhere if Joe Spinell is involved. I think The Undertaker that Vincent put out even had Joe Spinell's Mr. Robbie on there. I could be wrong on that. There's an episode of Kabuki Man's Cocktails Corner, which is... don't get why it's on here. And it says there's also the return of Dolphin Man, which I don't understand what that's from. And it says there's highlights from the Troma Dance Festival, and there's not. The special features on here go into trailers. For the film, it's Mr. Robbie, and it's just Mr. Robbie and the 2 audio commentaries. And then if you go to Troma Extras, there's Kabuki Man's Cocktail Corner. Unless it's under trailers, which I clicked and it wasn't. I don't know about the... I don't know what they're talking about with Dolphin Man or the highlights from the Troma Dance Film Festival. Now, this is rough. Like, it's almost like they just barely up-converted a VHS. Because when it starts out, it says this picture is rated R with the brightest blue I've ever seen. But you also hear like a hissing noise in the background and a crackling noise. And it goes through that rated R until it says Fanatic and the beginning of the film. The beginning of this film is rough. Like, the killer in the movie within the movie, you can't tell what it's doing. It's too dark. The red barely sticks out, but what does stick out is all the film damage, which has fascinated me. Like, white specks appear all over. And it's not a good quality. Now, once you get out of that first scene, it's not that bad. Like, out of that first scene, and you get into New York, where the cab is yellow, and the colors pop a bit more, that's great. But the night scenes, you can't tell what's going on. There is one scene in particular in this, which is at the very end, where it looks like shadows. You have no idea what's going on. So, I do not recommend getting this Blu-ray. But how does it compare? How does it compare to Severin's limited time Maniac 2 Special Edition? And no, I did not read this book. I want to, I'm going to, but I did not get a chance to read it in time for this. So, how does the Troma one stack up to the 4K? So the 4K has an audio commentary that's similar on that one. The audio commentary on there is with Joe Spinell's assistant, Luke Walter. That's the one on here. There's also an audio commentary with actress Carolyn Monroe and Fright Fest's Alan Jones. New special features are Like Father, Like Son. Sal Cericcia remembers Joe Spinell, which was a fun special feature. I watched that, and he goes and sings a song at Joe's grave. He mentions all the times he had with Joe. It was actually very nice and very sweet. If I'm looking forward, it says time, and I thought it said 33 minutes. It's 133 minutes. My last horror film ever, which was an illustrated archival interview with Judd Hamilton, I did not watch. There's apparently a producer's cut, which I didn't watch. I just watched whatever's on the 4K. And then the locations piece is, I think it's Michael Gingold. Yeah, Michael Gingold and David Gregory going around showing New York and Cannes then and now, which is fairly short. So, this version of the last horror film, there is no blue rated R at the beginning. There is no fanatic text. The movie opens to a Jesse Frederick song, and yes, the thing I did learn on the Troma introduction is that is Jesse Frederick, who did the theme for Full House, Perfect Strangers, and like Family Matters, and all these other 90s sitcoms, did music for this film. Interesting to me. But the color is much better. You can tell what everything is. There is damage in one scene, and that damage is the lower right-hand corner. That's it. The ending that was so dark there, here it's crisp, and you can tell everything, what everything is. Now, here's a weird thing. Watching this compared to this, right? This one is an hour 26 minutes. This is an hour 27. But this adds an R-rated title card and a Fanatic title card and is somehow shorter than this one. That's weird. I don't know. But the colors pop way more on this one. You can tell Joe Spinell is a very sweaty man in this one. And the thing that kind of gets me too is I've seen this movie numerous times, and I swear the ending took place in like a smoky graveyard. I swear that's like, I do not remember the ending of Joe Spinell talking to his mom, and she asks for a joint. And that's not really a spoiler because it's not telling you anything about the movie other than that's it. I do not remember that. So, either way, this version is probably the best version of this you can find. The color timing is good. It is crisp. Everything looks like it should. Joe Spinell is a sweaty man, which, yeah, you see anything he's in 4K, dude's sweating a lot. Joe Spinell, one of my favorite actors, he was taken too soon. I think he could have been somebody. Also, what's funny is in one scene in this, he's wearing like a suit, but all I can think of is him in either The Godfather or like a thug from Rocky, because that's what it reminds me of. So yeah, pick up, if they still have it. I don't think they do, but if they do, or you can find a copy, the last horror film on 4K is the way to go. The last horror film on Troma's Blu-ray, only if you want Mr. Robbie, if you don't already have it on something. But yeah, this 4K, the way to go. This is a complete version. That's one of their Blu-rays that I'm pretty sure they rushed out. The other interesting thing to note is there's an interview with Carolyn Monroe on here, which I swear, and I could be wrong, was on the Tromasterpiece DVD, but it's not involved on that Blu-ray. So I don't know what happened there. And like I said, I could be wrong. I just remember hearing Carolyn Monroe and Alan Jones audio commentary. So do pick this one up. Do avoid or get rid of this unless you just really like seeing John Brennan and Lloyd's intro. So thank you for watching this comparison video. Next up for YouTube for free, we have Night Beast, which was released by Troma as well, because apparently Troma released everything under the friggin' sun at one point. Not a slam against them, just it's funny how many movies I'm coming across that Troma distributed at one point. So no, stick with this 4K version. And after Night Beast, I'm hoping to have in the Toxic Avenger. That one will go a lot longer because you have 4 movies to compare. And I have... Let me show you a preview of this, okay? You can... Whoops, the book fell out. So let me show you a preview. So you guys on here know that I am a Troma fan. Clearly because I still have the last horror film. But let me show you this. Okay? So this is why Toxic Avenger is going to take me a while. Because you have the version that's in here. You have the 2-disc special edition version. The Japanese cut. The Blu-ray. And then the 4K. That will be compared with all these as well. And the DVDs. That's a lot of stuff, man. So that's probably going to take me a while. I'll try to have something up while I'm going through them. But I may not, and I may have to release them individually, especially the first Toxic Avenger, because you're looking at DVD, 3 DVDs, plus the Blu-ray, plus the 4K. You're looking at 5 different items. So yeah, Night Beast is next for you. For patrons of $1 or more, they're getting my review of the Psycho 4K Arrow set. So that's what $1 patrons have to look for. $5 patrons, they're looking forward to something. I'm not 100% sure what it is currently. I think maybe they're gonna get a movie. Well, clearly they're gonna get a movie, but I don't know what yet. So thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.